What up, boys? It's Devin. I want to talk to you boys about anxiety and how the power of habit can cure your anxiety the way that it cured mine. I was riddled with anxiety from the ages of 15 up to almost all the way to 22. Just absolutely swamped. I was drowning in anxiety. It ruined my life for a long time. I constantly felt like I didn't know what my path was. I felt like every decision I made was the wrong decision. I felt like I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I felt lost. And I felt just an overwhelming feeling of anxiety. I felt like everyone in my life was doing better than me, and I was the only outcast that had no real purpose. But looking back, I didn't just have anxiety. I had almost every vice that you could think of. I was addicted to drugs, weed, vaping, alcohol, fucking pills, porn, video games, all of it. My life was consumed with that. My life was literally packed with just hedonism. Everything that I did was bad for me, looking back. All of it was very, very bad for me. And now that I am so disciplined and I'm so regimented and I have so much purpose and fulfillment and joy in my life, and I compare the two and I look back and I really understand that what keeps me grounded today and what lets me feel no anxiety and walk through my life confident and enjoy my day to day is the fact that I have a daily set of non-negotiable habits that in which if I do every single day, I know that I'm moving the needle forwards in my life and I feel amazing as a result. And if I'm doing these things daily, I know that I am eventually getting towards the goal which I wish to achieve within my life. So looking back, the fact that I had no goals, number one, I had no discipline, I had no plan, and then I had no habits. I had nothing I was doing daily. In fact, the only thing I was doing daily was all the bullshit. And so now I understand the power of habit. So what do I mean power of habit? What are things that you do daily? Are they good habits or are they bad habits? For me, they were bad. For me, it was a lot of time on my cell phone, a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol, like I said earlier. Whereas now my habits are waking up early, prioritizing my health, hydration, the gym, working hard, doing things that benefit my life, reading, meditating. These are my habits now. So contrast the two, and you can see the drastic difference. Drugs and alcohol, reading and meditation. Snacking and weed, hydration and healthy food. I mean, it's drastic. And as a result, the way that I feel now is so ridiculously better than I felt then. I feel more happy. I feel like I have purpose. I feel fulfilled. I love myself. I love my life. I wake up every single day knowing that I'm moving the needle forward in my life. I don't question whether or not I'm doing the right thing anymore. I don't feel alone. I don't feel lost. I feel guided by God to do the right things. Whereas in the past, when I would wake up and I would feel lost and I would feel like, what's my next move? I don't even know. And then the feeling of feeling lost would lead me to do the drugs. And then the drugs would make me want to play the video games. And then the porn. And then you name it. It was just a cycle of bad things. Whereas now, all the things I do are a cycle of good things. Habits are cues, right? There's cues that lead to habit. Certain things spark you to make you want to do something. So in the past, when I felt anxiety, it made me want to vape. Whereas now, a good cue could be an example of leaving water bottles all around your house to remind you to stay hydrated and to suppress your hunger from eating a bunch of garbage snacks if you prioritize your health. So the cues are very important. And so the reason that I have so many good cues in my life now is because I've built them one by one. And you start very small. When I realized anxiety was destroying my life and I knew I needed to make a change, I didn't do it for the longest time. I waited and that in itself drove me to be even more fucking anxious. The waiting period of when you know you need to make a change in your life, but you wait until you hit your absolute breaking point, and then you look back and then you finally make the change and you look back and you say, wow, I could have been feeling amazing all this time, but I waited. So that drove me up the wall. And now I have, like I said, daily non-negotiables that I hit every single day, daily habits that I never miss on, my morning routine and my daily habits. And if I miss those just one day, the feelings of anxiety start to climb back into my mind. The old me starts to come back. The bad thoughts start to come back. I start to revert back to the old me. That is why it's so important that once you establish daily habits, you never miss. Every time you do something that you don't want to do, but you know it's good for you, you're casting a vote for the man you want to become. But every time you miss, even if it's just once, the old me starts to come back. Those old thoughts start to come back. So that person, as much as I've killed him, tries to come back to life if I just miss one single time. So when you stay consistent daily with good habits, you start to eventually stack on more consistent good habits. And as you go through this process, you start to become more dialed, more regimented, more fulfilled. You get more done. Your life gets better. You get better results. Because the same way when I felt anxious, I would hit the vape. Then when I hit the vape, I would smoke the weed. It's a spiral. So when you have bad habits, it's one spiral after the other. You smoke the weed, you eat the bad food. You eat the bad food, you jerk off. You jerk off, you play the video games. It's a bad spiral. And that's what causes you more anxiety. When you feel discomfort and you know it's time to do something that you need to do it instead of putting it off and doing the thing that makes you feel good. Because when you do things that just make you feel good now, that's what drives the anxiety through the roof. You're putting a Band-Aid over a gash. You're not fixing the problem. You're suppressing it for the moment. But then once that suppressant wears off, you crave more. And you become an addict to the dopamine. You become an addict to that suppressant feeling, numbing your anxiety, numbing your inadequacies and your pain. Because that's what anxiety really is. You're not in the place you need to be, and that's why you feel so much anxiety. You're not doing the things you know you need to do, and that's why you feel so much anxiety. That's why I did. And the minute I just started doing the things I knew I needed to do, regardless of the way that I feel, my anxiety started to go away. Because I knew I was doing the right thing every day. And that made me feel truly happy and good. And I didn't stress anymore about where I'm going to go. Am I going to get XYZ result? What's my next move? Once I just focused on what's the next task for tomorrow. Just tomorrow. I'm not worried about the week, 10 days from now. What are the next tasks for tomorrow? Once I started focusing on that, my life got so much better. And if you map out your goals properly, you start to understand, okay, these are the daily habits I would have to do to achieve this goal eventually. And once you truly understand that, you just do the daily habits daily. And you only have to focus on the daily habits. Don't focus on the entire staircase of how to get there. Focus on one step at a time, and it will keep you sane. Your anxiety will whittle away. So the power of habit, the power of just doing the things you know you need to do every day, but they compound. So this could be good for you or very dangerous. When you have one good habit, you want more, right? If your good habit is getting up early, well then your next good habit might be doing more reading. And then after you do that for a while, you might actually want to do some meditation. And then after that for a while, you might want to actually get some more work done, and it just compounds, right? Like when you're in the gym working hard, you're not going to want to go eat the shitty foods as much because you just did all this hard work. You don't want to do it for nothing. So you start to eat better foods. So when you have good habits, they compound, but they start small and they build over time. But the same thing happens with your bad habits, and that's why your anxiety rises. So whenever you do something that's making you feel good temporarily, understand you are raising your anxiety levels. You will pay for it later. Anytime you're doing something that gives you instant gratification, you are most likely going to have to pay for it later with more anxiety and more stress. Whereas, when you do something you don't want to do in the moment and you know it's good for you, It sucks right now, but you're going to feel 10 times better in the future. So anytime you're faced with a decision and you understand I have to do this thing and it sucks in the moment, understand that you're doing temporary suck for long-term happiness and freedom in your mind. Your anxiety will go away the more you do this. And remember the latter. If it's instantly gratifying, it's not good for you. So just apply that to anything in life. Understand this. This is what changed my entire life. From feeling completely riddled with anxiety to having none. Because I just wake up every day and do the things I have to do. And the one day I miss, it all comes back. So it has to be every single day. So develop some sort of tracking system to make sure that you're doing these things daily. One of my mentors runs something called a 5-4-5 method, which I also run with. Had to sneeze. But I also run with this method where every night you write out your day the night before. So it starts with 5 goals, 4-step morning routine, and 5 needle moving tasks for the day. So 5 goals. What are 5 goals that you're working towards in your life? Write these out every single night before bed. Then 4-step morning routine. What are the first 4 things you're going to do when you wake up? Could be make your bed, hydrate, stretch, pray. There you go. There's 4. Whatever you want to do, you write it out the night before. A little checkbox, right? And then you write out 5 needle moving tasks for your day. So depending on what your goals are, if your goal is to get in great shape, your 5 needle moving tasks could be meal prep, grocery shop, go to the gym, whatever. If it's something with your business, it could be, call this employee, call this guy, whatever it is, whatever's going to move the needle in your life, according to whatever goal it is that you have, you write them out every single night the night before. So again, 5 goals, 4-step morning process, and a 5 needle moving task routine. And every day it's going to look a little different, but you write these out every day. And this gives you the mental clarity when you wake up. You don't feel scrambled. You don't feel like, what's my next move? You don't feel all the anxiety because all you do is pull out your little sheet, whether it's on your phone or whether you write it in a journal. And now you understand exactly what you have to do each day. And let me tell you something. The dopamine that you get from ticking that little box of the thing that you said you were going to do is way better than the dopamine you get from scrolling, the dopamine you get from alcohol, weed, drugs, porn, whatever. Because it's longer lasting and it's fulfilling dopamine. It's earned dopamine as opposed to cheap dopamine. That is why habit is so important. So if you are someone who is struggling with anxiety badly, what I would do is this in this order. Number 1, identify a clear goal in which you are trying to achieve in your life. And if you don't know what that means, you could break it down into pillars. Personal, financial, relationship, and just start there. Personal, financial, relationship. What are your personal goals? What are your financial goals? What are your relationship goals? Break those down. That's a good start if you don't know where to start with goals. Once you identify exactly what it is that you are looking to achieve, then identify what your vices are. What things are you currently doing that are stopping you from getting there and or slowing you down? And once you identify those things, you drop them. No longer do you do these things. You don't negotiate with yourself. You don't say, I'm trying to quit. No. You just say, I don't do those things anymore, and you quit. You're going to go through withdrawal symptoms, but if you're in your head saying that you're trying to, you're going to cave in. But when you tell yourself that you are done and you don't do it, eventually your mind will conform because your mind doesn't know what's real and what isn't. It only knows what you tell it. So you're going to start telling yourself you don't do these things anymore. Now, remove the cues. If smoking weed is the thing you do and you do that with your boys, stop hanging out with your boys for a bit. If video games is the thing you do, box the video game up and put it in the attic for a little while. If it's porn, unfollow all the girls you follow on Instagram or whatever cue makes you want to beat your meat. Whatever the fuck your vice is, remove the thing that indicates to you that you want to do it. And once you've done that, now you have a goal, You've dropped your vices. Now we start laying out a plan. How are we going to achieve this goal? So we have the goal. Now nothing's in our way except for ourselves. So how are we going to get to this goal? Well, we need a plan. So we break it down by steps. If your goal is to lose 10 pounds, your first goal might be to download MyFitnessPal. Number 2 might be to get a gym membership. Number 3 might be to buy a food scale. Whatever it is. And then you incorporate those mini goals to reach the big one into your 5-4-5 method every night. And you start working towards it. For example, I'll keep with the fitness thing. If the goal is to lose 10 pounds, then you need to figure out your macros, right? So then, once you figure out your macros and put that into MyFitnessPal, you track it every single day. And every day that you hit your macros, you're 1% closer. And that's the habit you track now. For example, even when it comes to drinking water, right? Like drinking more water could be a simple goal. So then track how much water you drink through the water reminder app. And then each day you just drink the water, you feel hydrated, you feel better, and boom. Now you're chasing a goal, you're getting there. And then just each day, put one foot over the other and do whatever it takes to get closer to the goal and enjoy the ride while you're going there. And you will start to realize your anxiety is going away. You're feeling more purposeful. You're feeling more fulfilled in your life because you really have something to go for now. You understand your purpose. You understand your why. And whenever you really feel like you're going to go back to your old ways, remember the feeling of all that anxiety and how you felt. And understand just one little slip up is going to send you back down that road to hell. So your goals need to be big enough to where they mean so much to you that you want them no matter what, and you're going to stay on that path. And your pain needs to be great enough that you never want to go back. So this is how I cured my anxiety and how you can cure yours today. Love you, boys. Good luck with this. I know you could do this. Anxiety is only temporary if you do the things I say. Eventually, it's going to go away. You got this.